And of course, we have some keys to learn every skill you desire you want to learn. You can literally learn every skill you want. The key here is that you put in many repeated attempts and get a lot of feedback out of that. So what does it mean? Feedbacks are outcomes. For example, if you forward test in replay mode, you will get a feedback immediately. So let's say you backtest a strategy, right? And you know exactly, okay, that's my rule sets, boom, you backtest it on the edge, on replay mode, and then you place the trade, and boom, out of a sudden you see immediately, has your analysis been right or wrong? That's one feedback loop, okay? If you repeat this process thousands and thousands of times, you have a lot of feedback loop. But guess what? If you go live now, so if you only stick to quote unquote live trading in the live market conditions, obviously that's a very good training because you're learning the market in real life conditions, but you're only limiting yourself to a few very limited attempts a day, because live trading experience, of course, you learn the live trading experience, but you don't get a lot of feedback loops. Again, how many trades can you possibly trade in a day until you either jump off a building or or done for whatever the whole day anyways, right? So either getting so frustrated because you fuck up many times, or you're doing very good and whatever. There's not a lot of learning experience in as well. But the true learning starts with multiple feedbacks over and over and over again, right? So this is also very important, but again, the live trading experience is very, very important, but that's not the way you truly can gain knowledge out of it. You have to practice it in replay mode, and obviously before that you have to see it in hindsight first. Only if you can see it in hindsight, then you will be able to see it on the edge in replay mode, and only if you can make it in replay mode, multiple repeated attempts, then you will be able to do it in live markets. When you literally everything is like emotional based, you have to wait, everything takes much longer, emotions come into place, real money, you have to risk and all that stuff, right? That's where the true challenge comes from. At first, you have to make it step by step, right? So from now on, like again, the saying is, first you have to put in the practice before you can fight properly. So one of my personal best quotes is, sweat more in training so you bleed less in a fight. Okay, so repetition is key always. If you put in countless of hours and practice in replay mode, backtesting, forward testing, on the edge testing, like whatever, even hindsight testing, if you do that multiple thousands and thousands of times, then of course you will have a much easier time to trade live. But if you learn a new strategy and then immediately want to trade it live every single day, that will not gonna work. You will make more mistakes than you learn, because what's the learning experience here? You will get one feedback or two feedbacks or three feedbacks the whole day. But guess what? If you spent this whole day backtesting charts in replay mode, you couldn't go over hundreds of examples, depending on what you trade. The same thing, again, see it like an easy practice for a doctor's approach, like a doctor in a hospital. So he treats, let's say, broken bones. Okay, so broken bones, easy broken bones, like, okay, how many people break an arm or a leg or a finger or whatever. So that's obviously happens a lot of times. So the doctor sees that on a daily basis. He knows exactly, okay, a patient comes to me, arm is broken. I managed to treat patients like that hundreds and if not thousands of times. I know exactly what to do. I scan it, blah, blah, put this and this treatment on. Easy, boom, done. So the success rate is very high. But guess what? If now a patient comes and there's like this crazy ass brain tumor, and you need like some crazy X-rays or whatever it's called in English, so excuse my bad English skills about this topic, but you know what I mean. That's obviously a treatment that he didn't really do a lot of times in his life. So that's first of all why the success rate is much lower, because he has much less experience. He never backtested that. He never really can practice that. There's no free studies where someone comes, oh, you can treat my brain tumor, let's just experiment around that. He cannot really practice that a lot. right? So it's not that that would be that much more complicated. It's just that the doctor has 5 million times less experience in that field and much less knowledge, because it's so hard to get this feedback loop, right? But guess what? When the first person ever broke his leg in whatever 5 million years BC, do you think they knew exactly what to do with the leg? They would be completely lost. They didn't know what to fucking do. They probably punched the leg with a stick and thought like, oh my God, why does it hurt even more? Right? Because they didn't know how to treat it. But over the years, they obviously broke a lot of bones and they know exactly how to treat it properly. Right? But at the beginning, it was like catastrophical as well. And they probably died because they didn't know what to do and how to fix a bone. And then it, whatever, like grows back all like weird angles and all that shit, right? But there's like a lot of examples, again, just a weird one. The same thing with trading. If you practice something over and over and over again and get all these feedback loop, right, wrong, that was good, that was bad, that was a mistake, that was good, that was a good decision, that was a bad decision, over and over and over again. Okay, if I put this rule to this setup, that works best. If I only stick to EU, that works better for me. If I only trade London, that works better for me. If I, for some reason, have troubles trading London close or something like that, right? Then obviously you trial and error, do it over and over and over again, get these feedback loops. Again, when they asked Edison about like this experience or like his development of the light bulb, right? Edison didn't say, oh, I fucked up 10,000 times to not figuring out of how the light bulb works. He said, I figured out 10,000 ways of how the light bulb does not work successfully. Okay, so he did try and error all the time, 10,000 of times, until he got the solution he wanted. Same thing with trading. You have to backtest, practice, and not digging straight into live trading on the live market conditions, because the feedback loops are way less. Okay, but guess what? If you backtest a setup, the same exact setup, hundreds of times, and then you see the same exact setup live in market conditions, yes, it will be a little bit more challenging, as the emotions, the real-time aspect, the risk of money, maybe the FOMO, maybe you're getting some sort of emotional. It's completely fine, but at least you saw the setup thousands of times already, and your confidence level is 10 times higher, and it's much more likely that you make the right decisions after that. Okay, so sweat more in trading, bleed less in a fight. And again, it is not you that is worse than someone else. It is just the person with the greater results. They put more effort, more repetition, and more training into it. Right? So if you see a trader which is much more successful than you, it's not that he's just a better person or like way smarter than you. He probably just backtested and practiced 10 times more than you did.